Hello, this is your friend Olufemi. Welcome to another session with me giving you my opinion about how I raised my three girls in the US coming all the way from Nigeria. Last week we discussed puberty, and I hope that some of you that I did get some calls, some people reached out to me that their daughters were at that stage. For those that are still raising kids, younger girls, maybe 8. I think the best age to start is at 8. I started at like 7, 8 for my girls. Anyway, today we'll talk about spanking. Where I grew up in Nigeria, we got a lot of that. My mom spanked us really good. In my language, at least back then, they call it ore. And I remember when we were in grade school, we had a teacher that would come home with us, a private tutor. He would come home with us and he used to call it atori. So if you were not paying attention, that means you would get atori. I remember there was a song we used to sing back then. I can't remember that song very well right now. But anyway, the generation we're in, they talk about gentle parenting. And sometimes I wonder about that. My almost 21-year-old, she's gonna be 21-year-old in 2 weeks. We had this discussion last week, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna talk about it this week. And she was like, I don't agree with spanking. She'll rather just talk to the child. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sure she's saying that because she didn't like that she got spanked. She was one of those 3 girls that, she just did not like it. And she would tell you, no, I don't want to be spanked. You know, the others just took it in strides. I got spanked a lot, even when I was in high school, in boarding school. And that's one of the reasons why I hated boarding school. I'm like, none of my kids would go to boarding school because I was like, it was just too much issues with spanking and stuff. Anyway, the people that got spanked the most are the people that are naughtier. Like I was naughty in high school, I know that. So anywho, I got spanked. My mom was the disciplinarian in our house. My dad only spanked me once that I remember. But my mom, we got a lot of spanking from my mom. So when my kids were younger, I did spank them and they did get punished. And I'm the disciplinarian. I'm more of the disciplinarian too than my husband. They did get spanking. And I honestly will sit here and tell you that you can go beyond, you can cross that line, because truthfully, there's a fine line between you spanking for correction or you hitting in frustration. And I was there in my time. And honestly, and our parents, we got spanked a lot. And I don't think they even thought about that. And a lot of times we want to do things the way we're used to doing it. This is how I was raised. This is how I saw my mom do it. This is how I saw my dad do it. And so you think you're doing the right thing because, again, that's the only thing you know. But in retrospect, thinking about it later, in my later years, I'm like, no. There were times that I know I overdid it. At that time, I didn't think I overdid it. But like I said, looking back, thinking back. But having said that, would I still spank today? I would still spank. And what I did back then with the kids, even though I would spank them, after they've been spanked or they've been punished, well, I would sit them down and say, this is why I did this, this is why I did that. So in a way, it wasn't that I was just spanking them for the fun of spanking them. I let them know the reason why you got punished was this. And one thing too that I did was, once they got to a certain age, and I think it was mostly like 15, unless, you know, you did something that was out of the ordinary, I kind of stopped spanking at that time. I would talk to them more at that stage. I started talking to them more. But honestly, I still think that there's a place for spanking. Personally, I think there's a place for spanking because the Bible does say it, and I'm not speaking from the biblical aspect of it. I think that sometimes you still have to, for them to get their attention. Like I said, there's a line that you can cross, that it becomes abuse. Personally, looking back, I'm saying, yes, I did cross that a few times. And you learn as you grow. And this is one of the reasons why I said I wanted to do this series, because parents, people, some of us that are raising kids in this generation, in this era, in today's stage, that you haven't gotten there, take a step back. Don't do it out of frustration. When they do things that'll make you angry, they'll upset you, they'll aggravate you. But don't do it in that moment, because if you do it in that moment, most of the time, you can overdo it. Not all the time. Sometimes you can overdo it. And like I said, I know that I did overdo it. There's a saying in my language that says, Taba for more, Afiowo si famora, meaning you use the left hand to discipline, you use the right hand to draw them close in love. And that was one of the things that I did. I remember when my oldest was actually, I can't remember what grade, maybe 4th grade, and he was trying to smack her, and she moved her face, and he hit her in the eye, and the vessel busted. She didn't go to school that next day because we were like, oh, what if she got to school and she told the teacher? So that's one of the reasons why I say in anger, we should try not, or out of frustration, out of anger, let's try not to discipline our kids in that moment. But like, if you wait a few minutes, if you wait like maybe 10 minutes, you'll probably get over it and it won't be so bad. I was watching The View, actually, coincidentally, Your View in Nigeria. And I think her name is Morayo, the main lady. She said that the only time that her and her husband argue in the house is over the issue of spanking or not to spank. She's team don't spank. Her husband is team spank. And her husband would always tell her, you know, we were raised being spanked and we turned out all right. So I don't see any reason why we can't spank our kids. Yes, like I said, you can spank, but sometimes we do go overboard as parents. So anyway, that's what we discussed today. I hope that this is something that has this series has opened your eyes to if you think you need to spank or if you don't want to spank. Please, in the comment section, let me know what you think. Are you team spanking or are you team do not spank? Spanking or not spanking? Thank you for coming along today. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and thank you. God bless you.